starts right now.
We begin tonight with new developments in our ongoing coverage of the Uvalde school massacre. Families of victims receiving a comprehensive report today on the failed police response and missed red flags ahead of the shooting at Robb Elementary, where 9 students and 2 teachers were killed. That report was prepared by the Texas House Special Investigating Committee. The 81-page report looks at what took place leading up to and during the shooting, and it includes 15 conclusions. Following the release of that report today, a press conference was held discussing the report and its findings. That press conference with Texas officials just wrapped up. That's where families, the Uvalde community, and members of the media were able to ask questions about that report. Our Lee Waldman is there live in Uvalde. She will have a breakdown of what happened along with family reaction. That'll be for us later tonight on the Night Beat. Also today, Texas officials released the 77-minute footage of inside Robb Elementary on the day of the shooting. If you recall, today was supposed to be the first day the victims' families were going to see that footage with audio removed. However, earlier this week, it was released unexpectedly with some audio by the Austin American-Statesman. To read the full report by the Texas House Special Investigating Committee right now, just head over to KSAT.com. To other stories we're following on this Sunday, and new at 5:30, police say a domestic disturbance ended in gunfire at a West Side apartment complex earlier this afternoon. It happened in the 300 block of Sherrill Drive around 1:30. According to SAPD, a man in his late 20s or early 30s was shot as many as 4 times outside one of the buildings near a dumpster. Investigators believe the victim had been involved in a fight with his partner, and she then called a sibling. That woman's brother showed up and confronted the victim. Police say the 2 men were seen chasing each other around the apartment complex before the shots were fired. That victim, according to police, hit in the arms, chest, and stomach and was taken to University Hospital. The suspect, a man in his late 20s to early 30s, was detained by police. The gun was recovered and police are now questioning witnesses. Happening overnight, a rollover crash over on the northwest side sends 1 woman to the hospital and another to jail. This happened around 2:30 this morning near the intersection of Callahan and Evers. Police say a car headed down Evers Road was struck by another car coming from the other direction. The impact flipped the Hyundai onto the passenger side, seriously injuring a 29-year-old woman who was sitting in the front passenger seat. She was taken to University Hospital, where she was listed in critical but stable condition. Police believe the driver of the Toyota, a 20-year-old woman, caused that collision. She was evaluated at the scene and was arrested for DWI. Passengers in both cars sustained minor injuries. A review now underway for how the Medina Valley ISD spent federal COVID relief funds. This confirmed by the superintendent's briefing published ahead of tomorrow's school board meeting. The U.S. Department of Education's Office of Inspector General is opening an oversight review after receiving, quote, numerous complaints about how those funds were being used. District officials will have to turn over expenditure records. However, they were quick to declare that this is not an investigation. The funds in question came from the elementary and secondary school emergency relief, along with the governor's emergency education relief provided by the federal government from March 2020 to present day. Happening around Texas today, a Houston home is left damaged after a Harris County patrol unit was taken, deputies say, by an 11-year-old who took it for a joyride. Harris County deputies say the boy drove that truck down the street, then hit the patrol unit and continued into the front of a home. The homeowner was inside at the time of the crash, but not injured. The child was returned to the parents, who say they don't know how he was able to get the keys. Over in far South Texas near Edinburgh, a popular flea market is severely damaged after a fire in Donna, Texas. The east side of that building is destroyed while the northwest side is still intact. Fire crews worked into the night to get that fire under control. No injuries were reported. Right now, the cause of the fire is unknown. The country is seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases fueled by the BA.5 Omicron variant. Health officials continue to stress the importance of staying up to date on vaccinations and boosters. Right now, anyone over the age of 50 is eligible for a 4th dose of the vaccine. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles County, they're considering a return to indoor mask mandates. Here's ABC's M. Nguyen with the details.
COVID infections are on the rise nationwide for the first time since May, a trend the CDC is predicting will continue. The latest subvariant of Omicron, BA.5, accounting for more than half of all new COVID cases.
This is that immune evasive nature of this virus. If you got your booster, let's say last November or December, you don't have as much protection against this virus as you'd like.
The Biden administration urging everyone, especially older Americans, to stay up to date on COVID vaccines and boosters.
Everybody over 50. If you've not gotten a shot in the last 6 months, if in the year 2022 you have not gotten a shot, you need to get one now. It will protect you for the rest of this summer into the fall. I think it's really critically important.
Data from the CDC shows just 48% of Americans have received their first booster, and about 71 million Americans, or about 20% of the population, are still completely unvaccinated. CDC analysis out Friday showing booster shots significantly prevent severe illness and death. The country is currently seeing over 129,000 COVID cases being reported every day, according to the CDC. 85% of the population now lives in areas with medium to high risk of COVID-19 transmission. Los Angeles County reporting 9,000 new positive cases on Friday. Officials there considering a return to indoor mask mandates.
I absolutely want to do my due diligence to keep others safe. But certainly as we're a few years into this with the vaccine, I wonder if it should just remain each individual's personal choice.
If you wear a good mask, an N95, a KN95, a mask that is well fitted, it will protect you from being infected. And if you are infected and asymptomatic, it would help in preventing you from spreading infection.
M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead on the news at 5:30, more monkeypox cases are being reported here in the U.S. The latest numbers and what health officials want the public to know. And dozens of dogs coming to the Alamo City to compete for Best in Show. We have the highlights from the River City Cluster Dog Show when we return. Welcome back. Monkeypox cases are rising here in the U.S. with at least 1,800 cases across the country. It's according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. They say there are cases in 45 states, including 489 cases reported in New York alone. Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute on Allergy and Infectious Diseases, says the number of monkeypox cases may be higher due to data still coming in. Officials warn it can be spread by close physical contact and by touching contaminated surfaces. Back here at home this weekend, some top dogs are leaving San Antonio as winners after the River City Cluster Dog Show. The event was happening all weekend since Friday at the Freeman Coliseum. Bexar County Kennel Club and Greater Victoria Kennel Club working together to bring dogs from all around the world to compete to be Best in Show for each of the competitions.
The 7 group winners get to go into Best in Show, and so the judges have a really cool decision to make there, because they have to look at those 7 very different dogs and compare them to the breed standard for each dog to decide which one's going to be Best in Show.
And we're told a different dog was crowned Best in Show each day. A bulldog, a mastiff were among some of the breeds that were crowned. Congratulations to all. Some of those dogs, hot dogs out there, Kasky.
All you got to get's the bun, right? And that's it. And notice how the sunshine is really filtered because of not just high thin clouds, but also a lot of dust in the air. We're going to talk more about that and when it disperses in just a bit. I do want to point out that the aquifer up again today, 1.2 feet. Still stage 2 watering restrictions right now, and we're nearly 25 feet below the July average. Molds, the only allergen reported, low right now at 400 and should remain low the rest of the week as it's going to be sunny and dry. 102, that was our high temperature today, 3 degrees shy of the record, 7 degrees above average. We'll talk about the triple-digit streak and how hot it gets this week. Record challenging temperatures as well in just a bit.
Another hot one out there, Adam Kasky.
Yeah, absolutely. Another hot one today. 102 degrees, the high temperature, in our triple-digit streak. It's going to continue. A dusty haze in the sky today. You may have noticed reduced visibility as you look off in the horizon. That's because of the African dust that's in place. It will be quickly clearing out tomorrow. The triple digits, though, this heat and dry weather is going to continue. Unfortunately, no rain in our forecast. Here's a time lapse. We're looking up I-10, basically to the northwest. This is from the medical center area, and you can see the haze off in the distance and how filtered that sunshine is. Actually, it's hard to even see the cirrus clouds that are moving overhead. You can see some of the silhouettes of those clouds in the backdrop, but it was hard to even see those cirrus clouds because of that dusty haze we have today. So here's our computer model that helps us predict this Saharan or African dust, and it's fairly moderate to dense overhead today, especially San Antonio, westward along Highway 90 to Uvalde, and up I-35 to Austin. Watch this though, as we put it in motion. Quickly it clears out tomorrow. By noon tomorrow, it's going to be very light, and then by Tuesday, pretty much non-existent. So today's the day with the the dust in place and giving us that hazy sunshine. But by tomorrow, I don't think you'll notice it, especially this time tomorrow. 101 right now, dew point of 54. So it's one of those situations where the drier air aloft mixes down in the afternoon, and when you calculate the heat index, it actually comes in lower than the actual air temperature. So that feels like not an issue out there today because we just don't have the humidity in place. But we have the temperatures. Hondo, 103, Cotulla, 107, New Braunfels and Gonzales, 102. Most of the hill country in the upper 90s. Comfort 98 along with Kerrville and Los Maples, Bandera right now at 99. Stinson on the south side, 102 now. By tomorrow morning, we'll be in the mid 70s for most of us around San Antonio. Converse 76. I think north side of town about 76, 75. You get into the hill country, some lower 70s. And then by the afternoon, we do this all over again. 102, I think, around most of Bexar County and San Antonio. A few degrees lower up into parts of the hill country, but for the most part, low 100s for a good portion of our area. And that's going to be the rule through all of next week and into the following weekend as well. Wednesday, the record high is 101. We're expecting 103. So likely a record-breaking day on Wednesday. Thursday, the record's 102. We're anticipating 103. So some record-breaking days likely later this week, especially by the middle of the week. Here's the big picture. The door is open, actually, for disturbances in our atmosphere because the upper level high, the big blue H, it's centered over the Rocky Mountains and the Four Corners region. So we have this north and northeasterly flow aloft. The door is open, but the nearest disturbance isn't coming southward. It's just pushing off to the east, and that's why you see all that precipitation moving through the Great Lakes and into the mid-Atlantic region. This high is going to shift eastward a little bit in the days ahead, but it's not going to change anything for us. I wish it would, but it's not. In turn, not even a glimmer of hope for any rainfall, unfortunately, in the foreseeable future. And the tropics are very quiet as well, so we can't even get a weak system coming in off the Gulf. No development expected in the tropics over at least the next 5 days, at least. So this evening, hazy sunset at 8:35 p.m., 98 degrees at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 90 degrees tomorrow. KSAT 12-hour forecast shows 76 at 7 a.m., and then by the noon hour, we make it to 93. High temperature about 4 p.m. of 102 tomorrow afternoon, and we tack on another degree by the middle part of the week. Unfortunately, nothing but sunny symbols every day through the next 7 days, Tim. So
at least it's making your job easy.
Well, yeah, it's not a difficult forecast. I'll give you that.
All right, thanks, Adam. Thanks for being here. All right, Larry, the 150 Open is in the books, and we have a champion.
Yeah, Cameron Smith has a huge following because of his mullet. On social media, people are referring to him as fictional character Joe Dirt. He is not Joe Dirt, though. He is your champion golfer of the year. And Malachi Branham of the Spurs says he was motivated by an opposing coach. Coming up.
Have you estimated how many beers it's going to take in there to drink it all?
I'm going to guess 2.
Yeah.
2 cans of beer.
How many more will you have after that?
I'll probably have about 20 claret jugs.
Yeah, baby. Thanks to an historic performance on the back nine, Cameron Smith will get to find out how much beer he can drink from the claret jug in Big Board Sports. The Spurs are leaving Las Vegas on a happy note after beating the Memphis Grizzlies yesterday 90-87. Rookie Malachi Branham led the Spurs at 23 points. He really came alive in the fourth quarter when he scored 14 on 5 for 5 shooting overall, including 4 for 4 from three-point range. He said he was motivated by a Memphis coach who was talking smack to him. Malachi, who averaged 15.5 points per game at Sin City, said playing in the Summer League was a great experience.
It's been good. It's been a lot of, it's just learning. I feel like I've learned a lot from here. Just it's back to the drawing board now to the season start. So.
Spurs wrapped up Las Vegas play with 1 win and 4 losses. 2 of those losses by 1 point. They were close to winning, but came up short until their final game. Coach Johnson is happy for his team.
It's funny, it's that close, right? But it's rewarding for them to see some of the fruit of their labor. And then, sometimes it's the hardest thing as a coach. You're trying to tell them about the process, and it's working, and it's getting better, and it's improving. But sometimes the results are very validating.
The Miami Heat signed Darius Days to a 2-way contract. He looked good for the Spurs in Las Vegas, averaging 13.7 points and 10 boards, shooting 55.6% from the floor. Johnson said it's bittersweet to see Days go. Cameron Smith is champion golfer of the year after winning the 150th Open Championship. He started the final round at St. Andrews tied for third, 4 shots behind co-leaders Rory McIlroy and Victor Hovland. Smith saved his best for the back 9. That's when he made his move with 5 straight birdies on 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. He was 3 shots behind when he made the turn, but his run of 5 straight birds gave him the lead. Sentimental favorite Rory McIlroy was 2 behind Smith when he got to 18, and he needed an eagle to force a playoff, but his chip shot was long and his bid to win over with. Cameron Smith wins the 2022 Open Championship. His 8-under 64 was the lowest final round by a champion, and the 30 times golf's oldest championship has been played at St. Andrews.
Last 4 or 5 holes there aren't easy around here, especially with that wind in off the left, and just stuck to what I was doing, and just really proud of how I kind of knuckled down today. To win an Open Championship in itself is probably going to be a golfer's highlight in their career. To do it around St. Andrews, I think, is just unbelievable.
Oh, that mullet game is strong. Cameron Smith wins the Open Championship by 1 shot at 20 under par. Rory McIlroy was third at 18 under. Cam Smith earned $2.5 million for winning his first major.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz will play the 2022 season on the franchise tag. The deadline for franchise tag players to sign long-term deals ended Friday at 3 p.m. locally. He will make a fully guaranteed sum of $10.931 million this season. Dalton is coming off a career season with 808 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. He'll need to replicate or top those numbers this season if he's to land the big money contract he wants. Friday morning at Lenoff Stadium, Rashad Wisdom and Frank Harris held a free football skills camp for 2nd through 8th graders. The kids all had fun, especially this one who did the gritty after taking down a tackling wheel. Awesome. This event was the brainchild of Judson and UTSA great Jarvion Williams, another local who loves giving back to San Antonio.
I started this back in 2018 when I was still in college, and it's kind of my way of passing the torch. Passing the torch to Frank and Rashad, letting those guys host their own camp. I'm just a vehicle, a tool that they're using, but predominantly it's their camp, and they wanted to do something for the community. I told them how I could help them, and we put it together.
Running back Malcolm Brown flew in to help teach the kids. The 7-year NFL vet played for the Dolphins last season, and he's currently a free agent.
I may have some workouts coming in next week. Free agent right now, but it's a transition for me. Something new. Being with LA for 6 years and then getting signed just like that with Miami. New transition for me going, but I'm enjoying it, man. I think I've feel the best I've felt in a long time. So I'm just out there training, working out, doing some community things, man. I'm just waiting on the call. It's an exciting time for me.
Brown played in just 7 games last season after suffering a quad injury against the Falcons. Tim?
Little man taking on that tackling wheel like it was nothing. He's ready to run through some walls. Thanks, Larry. We'll be right back.
All right, looking ahead, low 100s all week long. 102 Monday and Tuesday, 103 Wednesday and Thursday, which would be record highs, by the way, and still low 100s as we go into the following week. Unfortunately, we can't drum up any rain chances. We're looking at nothing but sunshine, and the extra haze in the sky will disperse pretty quickly tomorrow as the dust retreats.
That's all of our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tonight for the Night Beat.